Welcome to Shop and Cook to Prevent Type 2. Tonight we're going to be focusing on healthy foods, how to shop for healthy food, and then how to cook healthy foods. Okay, so just a little tidbit of information because I'm part of this 94%. But did you know that 94% of Americans eat pizza regularly? I'm part of that 94%. Like I said, I think I probably order pizza once a week at my house. So this kind of was an eye-opener for me. Just a little nutrition summary for one slice of pizza with meat. This is a nutrition breakdown. You're looking at 265 calories per slice, 12 grams of fat, over 27 grams of carbs, and over 10 grams of protein, which the protein you want, but the other you do not. So just a little eye-opener as we begin here on our favorite food in America. So, you know, you don't actually have to give up pizza. We're going to try one healthy modification at a time. You can make it yourself instead of ordering out. There's several fun pizza kits you can get using thin crust or whole grain crust, substituting turkey for pepperoni, and then using those reduced fat cheeses and things like that. So don't give up your favorite foods, but just look at alternatives and modifications for those. So where do you start? You know, it's hard. You think, you know, it's a big undertaking, and, you know, a lot of people fail because it's a lot to take in, and you end up putting so much pressure on yourself to do it all at one time. So you want to look at baby steps, and you want to first involve your family, because obviously if your family is not on board with you, it's going to be very hard for you to stick to that goal. So talk with your family about foods they like so everybody can be a part of the planning. Find recipes that match your family's taste, things that you may eat a lot of. Look for healthier ways to cook those. I actually went to the CDC website to look for some information on diabetes and meal prepping, and they had some good information, and one of their recommendations was using a theme for each day, such as Meatless Monday or Taco Tuesday. You can put a calendar on your fridge and, you know, involve your kids and let them write it out, and like I said, if you involve them, you're more likely to stick to your goals. So one of the most important steps is the shopping. You want to start, you know, gather, if you are a coupon cutter, if you check sales papers and stuff. I sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but first, you know, start there. Sit down at home and write out your meals. Don't just go willy-nilly to the grocery store and just start grabbing stuff. You have to have a plan. So pick your meals and know those recipes. You might have seen some good healthy recipes that you thought you wanted to try, and you might have saved them. Pull those out. Write out your grocery list at home, which you will realize will save you money because, you know, sometimes, like I said, if you go just to the grocery store without a list, you're buying things that you already have at home and that you don't realize. And nothing makes me more upset than buying something I get home and I already had a whole something of it in the cabinet. So make your list at home, go off of your recipes, and stick to that. And you want to choose healthy. Look at your lean meats. If you are, obviously, if you're doing whole food, plant-based, you're not going to be buying meat, but some people are not going to give up meat. I'm one of those people. So choose lean meat such as chicken, turkey, ground round, and look for cuts that end in loin, which will help you avoid those processed meats like bacon, sausage, the canned and potted meat. Anything quick and easy, it seems to me, is probably not as healthy. Choose low-fat dairy products such as the 1% and the skim milks, almond milks too. I love almond milk in protein shakes. And a lot of people don't like the 1% and skim milk, but if you're just using it to cook with or to put in, say, cereal, you're not going to taste the difference. So stay away from that whole milk and try those others. Choose like margarines or the fat-free butter sprays to coat your pans when you're cooking. Obviously avoiding sweets, we all know that. Any prepackaged cookie, candy, it's just horrible. Just try not to even walk down that aisle if you can help it. stick to those fresh fruits or frozen fruits. Try to stay away from the canned fruits, but if you have to, read on the label. It'll tell you if it's, made with, if it's in its own juice or if it's got added syrup. So stay away from those syrupy, extra added sugar fruits. Does anybody have anything to add so far? Am I going too fast? So when you start cooking and you're meal prepping, think about batch cooking, maybe cooking something that you can put up and freeze and cook again at another, or bring out again at another night. Stick to those meals that you wrote out that you were going to cook for that week, and try not to sway away from those, because if you're buying fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, those will ruin. And that's, I think a lot of times people buy all this stuff and they go and they put it in the refrigerator and then it ruins and they just get frustrated and they're like, I can't stay on top of that, or I can't keep buying the stuff, it's too expensive. Well, stick to the meals that you planned for. Make sure you don't waste this food that you're buying. We talked about this a minute ago, cooking with less fat, trying to bake and grill and roast your food, and no frying. Just stay away from grease altogether. Fresh or like I said, the frozen steamed fresh veggies are really good. Put them in the microwave and, you can have a meal in minutes, and find fun ways to season those. Sometimes those might taste a little more bland. I just season mine with some pepper. Sometimes I use some light Italian dressing. Like if I love that on those steamed fresh green beans, just to try to give those a little flavor. Like I said, no need to give up your family favorite recipes, but there are ways to make those healthier. And then portion control. This is whether you're eating healthy or not. I think if we just look at the size of our plate and how much food we have on our plate, there's, no sense in cramming all that inside at one time. Try to stick to the smaller meals, more frequent times of the day. It'll help you not be so hungry at night that you're to the point you're starving and you're just going to eat everything in your house. Frequent meals, smaller portions. Okay, so Mama's fried chicken, that's all of our favorites. We don't have to give up Mama's fried chicken. There's another alternative that instead of 180 calories per slice or per piece, you've got 111 calories, and this is an alternative. It's oven fried chicken, much healthier but still tasty. I wanted to share this as well, because back to the pizza, just one breadstick, 20 carbs and over 4 grams of fat. Here's a alternative that I actually saw this the other day, and I screenshotted it and saved it because I wanted to try it. But it's a 0 carb breadstick. So I've not tried this yet, but it looks really good. Looks good and crispy and crunchy. So get out there and look for those fun, easier, healthier recipes. Okay, so how are we going to start? You're going to first pick your veggies. So this is, Monday. Let's just pretend like this is Sunday. We're fixing to go to the grocery store for the week. Let's pick 5 veggies for our week. What are we going to pick? You pick 2 or 3, and you get your cooking ideas out. Are you going to roast? Are you going to grill, steam? How are you going to do those? So first you pick your veggies. Then you're going to move on to your proteins. We're looking at picking for 2 to 3 lunches and dinners for the week. Chicken, turkey, fish. These are all good, healthy meats to pick from. And then you pick your ways that you're going to prepare those. You're going to bake, fry, or stir fry, grill, roast, several ways you can cook. And then you pick your carbs. So there's the healthier carbs, I'd say, pasta, whole grain, wraps and breads, the brown rice, beans, sweet potatoes. I see cornbread on here. I didn't put that on here. I don't know if if there's a healthier cornbread that I'm not knowing about. let's not pick cornbread. Okay.
There actually is a healthier version with
okay.
But I can't find the cornmeal locally. But I found a recipe, and when I can purchase all of the components, I will share it with you. It involves some soy milk and I think an egg substitute. But when I have found all the ingredients and when I have cooked it and tasted it myself, I will share it with this group if it is worthwhile. If not, I'll just quietly not mention it.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm interested in that because I do like cornbread, but we're going to stay away from it right now. So back to the themes. So, if you picked your Mexican or your Taco Tuesday or whatever you're going to do for that week, here's the the seasonings that can go along with each of your themes. And I think some of these, we probably all have every one of these in our cabinet that we can learn to season with. Season your foods to make them tasty. And then low fat, light dressings always. Okay, so here's an example of putting it all together. This is Stan. He's decided that he's going to try this simple meal prep strategy for his lunches and dinners next week. For his veggies, he has picked lettuce, tomatoes, onion, broccoli, carrots, and spinach. Protein, he's picked chicken, cube steak, tuna, and cheese. And his starches, he's picked noodles, sweet potatoes, and whole grain wraps. And so here's his lunch options and dinner, or his lunches for that week and his dinners for that week. And he's written this out. It's different each day. It's a little variety. But it all came from what he started with on his meal prep or his ideas that week. So if you'd like, you can look in your packet, and there are, and the gentleman's name in our packet is Jerry, not Stan, but he's got his ideas and his meals and snacks. There's a blank form that you can practice with if you'd like to do that, or if that's something you want to do on your own time. And there's also his shopping list that he used to make those meals. And then there's an blank shopping list that you may use as well. All of these shopping tips and things we have talked about are in this packet, just to remind you before you do decide to start meal prepping and cooking healthier. And then here's our action plan. And each participant is encouraged to make your action plan and try this at home. And so we're open for questions right now if you have any, or if you'd like to add anything or bring up something I may have left off.
I just want to add that it can be overwhelming if you've never meal prepped before. And something I'm not doing it right now, but when I've tried to do it in the past and first started, my sister-in-law and I kind of paired up and we split the week. Like she would do half of the meals and I would do half, and it cut down on what all one person had to prep. So if you have a buddy on this journey with you, that might be a good tip. Just make sure you both know the dietary rules you're going to stick to.
That's a good idea for sure. And I'll be honest, I've meal prepped before too, and you bring all your stuff to work for lunch, and then your whole department decides they're going to order out something, and you're looking at what you've meal prepped. Stick to your meal prep, because I promise you'll be happier at the end of the day that you did, and you'll be proud of yourself. Stick to that, and don't waste your food that you've cooked.
From the chat box, Angel had put in, like, sometimes if you did need to grab something to go on the way home, like on a busy day, and in fact, I did this today, didn't know she was going to mention it. I went over to Subway and got the veggie sandwich with just vegetables toasted, and brought that home as my option. And I just got the 16 sandwich, and I'll probably make 2 meals out of it. So even if you need to do takeout, have to do takeout, haven't shopped, there's healthier versions.
Mm-hmm. There are more and more, restaurants, or, even if you look at McDonald's, you might find healthy something on there, as healthy as close to healthy as you can get. But there are alternatives. You have to have that willpower and decide to choose that. So.
The folks that I mailed that nutrition in the fast lane, I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago. It's the little book that actually will fit in the side pocket of your car, because it's for all of the restaurants. and it lists all their food items from the menu, and it lists how much sugar, carbs, everything that's in there. So if you're going to Arby's, for instance, you can look ahead of time and see what their menu items are and what might would be the healthiest that you could pick from, and kind of make up your decision, because it's hard to know when you're just standing there looking at the menu which may be healthier. But with that little guide, and if you keep it in your car, sometimes you can look ahead and determine. I think I mailed those out to some folks that had asked for it when we had one week, and I have some more at the hospital if I need to mail any more out, or if anybody that works at the hospital needs to pick one up.
Yeah, I'd like one of those. Yeah.
What would be everybody's favorite recipe that you think you could make a little healthier? You think you could make some substitutions or use different products that you believe you could still make acceptable to you, but just a little healthier? She mentioned the pizza as she started, but there may be other things that you like that when you eat it, you think, man, this sure is a lot of calories, or sure is a lot of saturated fat, or whatever. But is there anything that you could do?
I have changed our spaghetti recipe. My kids are big on spaghetti. So we only use the whole wheat thin noodles now. And then I do ground turkey instead of the ground beef, and a low sodium tomato sauce. And then sometimes I'll even put fresh tomatoes in there. So that made it a little bit healthier compared to the beef and the regular noodles.
You
And
said
I
the
saw you
zucchini
commented
noodles?
in the chat box that the kids didn't necessarily even know it, that they couldn't tell the difference, because sometimes it's more of just a mental way that you think about things. You make it this way because that's how mama made it, or that's how you were taught to make it. And it's not that you don't like the other versions, you've maybe just not tried them. I see something else that's popped up in the chat, so I'm going to jump over there and look, and then I'll be right back and mention what they say.
I've actually changed my husband's lasagna up as well. He is very picky on things and does not like to eat low calorie or low carb or anything that has to be healthy. But I changed up the cheese I used, changed it to all the low, and also went to the whole wheat noodles, and changed the meat to deer meat, and he did not even notice a difference. He actually said it was really, really well.
Deal is somebody had commented, Paige did, that when she's craving something that's maybe like a potato chip or salty or crunchy or something like that, that oftentimes she'll get nuts or carrots or some type vegetable that's crunchy, so that you get that texture and that sound and the other parts of the part of the food that goes along, in addition to just the food itself. Because sometimes you just crave certain things, and you'll almost eat half a house eating other things to substitute if they don't meet that need. So as much as you can kind of mimic with the sound, the crunchiness, and all, I found lately a non-dairy ranch dip that was less calories than some of the others. For those who like to dip lots of things in ranch or use a lot of ranch dressing, there was a healthier version of that I found the other day at Kroger. I had not seen it before, but when you purchased it, you really couldn't too much tell a difference, and it helped you out on the calories.
Has anyone ever heard of chocolate hummus or made chocolate hummus?
I have.
I saw a recipe for it, and I think hummus, it's got to be healthy. I don't know. I've not seen one other than I saw a picture. Someone had put some chocolate hummus on a rice cake with some strawberries sliced up, and it looked really good. But I thought, well, I need to look and make sure that the chocolate hummus is not like Nutella. It made me think of Nutella, which is, really high in fat and stuff. So I was interested in looking into that. But that's when you said crunchy. I'm a bland eater and always have been, and I can eat a plain rice cake, but my husband looks at me and says, "You're eating cardboard. Like, how are you even liking that?" And well, it's just I like the crunch, or it's got a little bit of a, not real salty, but just kind of like the potato chip. It just kind of satisfies that craving. But I have put peanut butter and stuff on them before, but I've not tried the chocolate hummus. So I wondered if anybody had.
I've got one more thing from the chat box. Somebody asked, should they avoid canned vegetables? You just have to be careful because some will slip up on you with the amount of sodium they have. So it's just basically being a label reader. Now there are more that are lower sodium and are labeled as such, but it's basically just looking at the back of the package. In theory, they consider the freshest being obviously things that's homegrown or that bought at the produce market, fresh, frozen where it's frozen fairly quickly, and then of course cans are certainly acceptable. Just try to pick the version that has the least amount of sodium. And I see a comment on the chocolate hummus. See what they said about that.
When I cook vegetables out of a can, if I have to, I just make sure I drain everything out of the can, all the water that it's been soaking in, and I do something. I add water to it if I have to, but I drain that out first. I don't know if that helps.
A lot of people wash them off just like you would if you just picked it out of the garden. Just wash and get all that extra stuff off. And the person that tried the chocolate hummus, the taste, as I understand it, was okay, but the texture was a little challenging because some people are sensitive to textures of things. That's why some people can't eat oatmeal or other, because they just it feels too thick or something. So it was more the texture than the taste on the chocolate hummus.
Well, I'll have to look it up and see.
Okay. Anybody else got any good ideas, things they've tried? I'm still Googling the cornbread, and it has so many ingredients, all the ones I've found so far. So I'm trying to find one that just has a few ingredients that are simple, but substituting something for the egg. I know it's the yolk of the egg that has the majority of the cholesterol and all. So if you're particularly watching cholesterol on top of everything else, that would be a good thing to find a substitute for.
Yeah, I'm also Googling the hummus recipe because I just wanted to know, obviously the chickpeas for the main ingredients, and then peanut butter, honey, which you would have, it says maple syrup can be used in the place of it, coconut sugar, and then cocoa powder, and sea salt. So I'm going to try it.
Our topic next week is related to stress. So Casey will be tuning in next week to see how to address technological related stress, of which I often have because everything seems to fall apart technology wise when I'm near. But
yeah, I think I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but it's a forward motion type process. None of us get it right all the time, and you do the best that you can do with the situation you're in and the resources you have, but you plan and you try to improve the resources you have available. That if you look in your cabinet, all of the canned goods are those low sodium versions, or it's the fresh frozen in your freezer, or maybe you went to the summer market and you bought some extra vegetables and froze them yourself for later use. I try to do that on certain things that you just can't purchase well in the winter. But and then just forward movement on the activity, a little bit more each day until you're reaching your goal. And it's a weeding up and down process, getting the water added, getting the sodas, sweet teas, other things reduced and backed off until they're gone. But does anybody have any questions or comments? We'll be back here at the same location next Tuesday at 5. to learn more about stress and how that plays into it, as far as the overall control of the blood sugar, the hypertension, and all the things it affects. But we'll give you back a little bit of your night tonight. We'll see you next week. If anybody has anything between now and then, just shoot me an email. Shoot us an email at the Diabetes Prevention email.